Hey, this is Tom Styles, and this is Tom's Rear Room Show, and I'm back. Well, almost back. I'm getting much better. Voice is starting to come back. This show is going to be just kind of a little history of what's happened to me over the past week. Not going to be much technical content, so if you want to skip this, that's okay. You want to give me a thumbs down, that's okay. It's just me trying to tell you where I'm at. And I will tell you a little story of what happened over the past week. Last Sunday, my wife came down with a cold. She's a substitute teacher, so she caught a cold for one of the kids at school. And Tuesday, I came down with the cold, and she was getting over hers. Well, I typically don't get over a cold right away, and I usually have to go to the doctor to get some antibiotics. And I had planned, as I had planned for the past 3 years, to go to the Orlando Big Ham Fest. And one of the reasons I have been going there, trying to go there recent years, is I meet up with some of the vendors, and they either give me some demonstration models that I can review on my show, or just give me some stuff that I can give away, whatever. It's a great place to meet the vendors. Oh, stand by, I'm sorry. I thought I could get through this without coughing, but didn't happen. So the past 3 years, I have been setting up with one particular vendor that has supported me over the years to meet up with him, and we agree on things that he's going to loan me to review, and that way he doesn't have to pay shipping to get them to me. Well, the last 3 years, each year this week of that Hamfest, I have gotten sick. And it's been this cold thing, and every year I try to do things to prevent from getting it. But I failed again this year. But I got it on a Tuesday, and got just the first symptoms, which was a sore throat on Tuesday, and thought, well, I've had that before, and it's kind of just gone away, never turned into a cold. Well, sure enough, this year, by Thursday, I had the full-blown cold. So I thought, well, I better contact him and tell him I'm not going to make it. But I really, really wanted to go. It's been, like I say, it's been over 3 years now since I've attended this big Hamfest in Orlando. And I wanted to see a whole bunch of other vendors, too, and see their new products. So I really didn't want to give up until the very last minute. So Friday, which is the day I planned on going, because this year the Hamfest opened Friday morning, which it typically opened Friday afternoon, and a lot of the vendors wouldn't be there Friday, so nothing really exciting happened until Saturday, which was the big day. It's actually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Saturday is the big day. Well, this year they opened it up at 9 a.m. So I got up Friday morning, and I didn't feel as bad as I had Thursday. So I thought, well, maybe I'm getting over it. So we packed up, drove to Orlando, which is 2 hours away. And by the time I got there, I was pretty exhausted just from riding. I was riding. And I thought, well, I want to go in, at least contact this guy, get the stuff he said he was going to have for me, and maybe just go back home, not even stay. And so my wife drove me to the Hamfest. I said to wait for me. I found a gentleman, and he did not have the equipment. He wasn't prepared for me to be there that early. He was thinking I would come on Saturday like most people. So he said, let me look around and see if I can find the equipment, and come back, in a couple hours. So I did that, and I came back, and he says, I'm sorry, I just don't have it. And he says, I'll ship it to you. No problem, I'll ship it to you. And I said, okay, I'm going to go. I just don't feel good. So I didn't feel like staying and looking at the other stuff. And
73.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The outdoor temperature is 73 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, it never fails, that weather station. It's a curse. Anyway, so we were going to stay with my daughter who lives in Orlando. And I thought, well, I'll go there and I'll rest up, and maybe in the morning I'll feel better. Well, I rested for about an hour and felt a little better. Took some medicine, over-the-counter medicine, felt a little better, but pretty out of it. So decided, okay, I'm not going to make it tomorrow. There's no way. So if I'm going to do anything, I'll go back today and just stay as long as I can. So when my wife dropped me off, I says, I'll probably an hour at max, maybe less. So I went around the Ham Fest and just kind of zipped through all the displays. I just grabbed a bunch of literature on the newest equipment, like from Yaesu. They got some wild transceivers. I mean, this is like high-tech transceivers. Ooh. Of course, pricey too. We're talking $5,000-$6,000 for the higher end stuff. But anyway, I grabbed some stuff. I looked at some parts and stuff like that. It was very disappointing. It was the same disappointment I had 3 years ago, or 4 now. The prices were basically 50 to 75% higher than what you're going to get off the internet. Now, granted, there are a couple of advantages. One is you get to see the merchandise. I was looking at parts, for instance. You could see the merchandise, touch and feel. The radios, the same thing. We could play with the radios. Friday, it was fairly busy but not crowded. So you could, like for instance, the Kenwood display, which was very large display. They had about 5 salespeople, and they only had about 4 or 5 people actually stop and talking to those salespeople. So the salespeople were not overwhelmed. I didn't feel like talking to anybody, so I could easily get to stuff and just kind of play with it myself. And but I also looked at parts, and parts were just they were outrageous. The prices were just outrageous for like connectors and adapters, stuff you could get off of Amazon or eBay. They were 100% markup. And so I didn't buy anything. I bought zero, not a thing, nada. Even though the other thing was, by being there, it was the convenience of looking and feeling and taking. You have it instantly. You don't have to wait mail order or nothing like that. I was just totally disappointed. I did not see, even though there was I'll call a moderate crowd, and I would suspect Saturday it was a huge crowd, because the weather was perfect this year. That's the other thing that had deterred me in previous years, is poor weather. It's a bad time of the year to be having a Ham Fest in Florida. Every year it has been bad weather, except this year, or for the last 3 years, been bad weather, except this year the weather was very good, very good. So I assume they had a big turnout for Saturday. So I was able to stay there about a half an hour, and I called my wife and said, come pick me up, I'm done. So that's kind of the end of the story, although I did spend the night with my daughter in bed the whole time. And they put me in confinement, in a bedroom by myself, and wouldn't let me out because I was so contaminated with the cold. My wife had a good visit with our grandchildren. Anyway, that's where it's at. My voice is coming back, so you can see I only coughed once. So, yesterday or day before yesterday, I was coughing all the time. I couldn't talk without coughing. I have gotten antibiotics, which are now working, so I am improving. And so probably, see, today's Wednesday, probably tomorrow or Friday, I'll start back to my normal videos and review things. I'll probably do a quick video of my Hamfest hour or less than an hour there, because I did take a number of pictures of the booths and stuff like that, so I do have some stuff to show you. It was interesting how many different vendors, and these are small vendors, they had a small booth, one person, were selling SDRs, software-defined radios, in different enclosures and with different names I never heard of, but there were dozens of them, dozens. And that was exciting to see that. That's really picked up and started to be an interesting little side venue, which is now, like I said, becoming pretty issue. And it's really, for me especially, and a lot of you guys out there, it's made a spark or interest back in shortwave. These little SDR radios, either the ones that are just dongles for $10, $20, or these more sophisticated ones that are $100, $200, it's really become interesting. And being able to use that kind of technology today at very low cost to get into it, and then if you really get into it and get interested, then you can buy these commercial ones that are really fantastic. I saw some really nice transceivers that are really SDRs, and made by Kenwood and Yaesu and the popular manufacturers. And the other big thing I got out of the Hamfest, the limited time I was there, is how many people are interested in this stuff, both old and new. And so I don't think shortwave or ham radio is dead by any means. No way. It is starting to boom now with this advent of these new electronics. So anyway, that's my ramble. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm feeling a lot better, and we'll get back on with the shows here in the next couple of days and try to catch up. Thanks for everybody that sent me some best wishes and speedy recovery comments. I really appreciate that. It's really a great group we've got here on the Tom's Radio Room show. I'm losing it, and the meds are taking over. Bye-bye.